thank you to the over 500,000 subscribers to Ring of Honor's YouTube channel. I'm Ian Riccaboni, and it is my pleasure to present a gift to you, the fans, to celebrate. For the first time ever, the first match in the historic Samoa Joe vs. CM Punk Trilogy is available here for free on Ring of Honor's YouTube. The date, June 12, 2004, the Fairgrounds in Dayton, Ohio. The event, ROH World Title Classic. One half of the then ROH World Tag Team Champion CM Punk was looking to capture his first ROH Singles Championship after a spirited run to the finals of the tournament to crown the first ever pure champion. Following brutal dog collar and Clockwork Orange matches against Raven the previous year, Punk had racked up victories against the likes of Doug Williams and John Walters that put him into world title contention. On this date, he would meet a man who had defeated him in an ROH ring just 10 months earlier. Samoa Joe was just the third ever Ring of Honor World Champion, having captured the title from Xavier at Night of Champions on March 22, 2003. Having held the title for over a year at this point, fans and observers alike were wondering just who could defeat Samoa Joe. After all, Joe had dispatched challengers like Homicide, a young Jay Briscoe, and even younger Mark Briscoe, AJ Styles, Paul London, BJ Whitmer, Christopher Daniels, and more. But with a grueling schedule of defenses and game tape revealing any weaknesses, Joe entered Dayton as a champion, but in some ways an underdog. Punk was looking to dissect any advantage he could and walk out of Dayton, Ohio, the Ring of Honor World Champion. We take you back to the night magic happened in Dayton, a match befitting the name of the event, a true World Title Classic. For more classic content, including all three matches in this trilogy, and ROH all-time greats like Punk, Samoa Joe, Adam Cole, Colt Cabana, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, and so many more, check out ROHHonorClub.com and the ROH app. Happy wrestling, everybody, and enjoy this World Title Classic.
Introducing first to my left, the challenger. He's from Chicago, Illinois. Weighing in at 210 pounds, he is the leader of the Second City Saints and one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, CM Punk. And before I introduce the champion, I would like to bring out a special guest. Please welcome at this time the esteemed Mr. Les Satcher.
Presentation to make, and I want to say it was an honor to be asked to do this. Samoa Joe, I've watched your career from the outset. I've been very impressed with your talent, your intestinal fortitude, your bulldog tenacity. You have taken a regional title from Ring of Honor, and in 14 months, when titles aren't held that long any longer, you have turned it into a world heavyweight title. Yeah! Ring of Honor management felt that this justified them doing something. And what I have here, Jeff, would you mind holding the mic for me? Is the brand new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title belt that I'd like to present to Samoa Joe on this night here in Dayton. And there's no doubt that the man has earned it if I can get it out of his bag. There we go. But let's show this to everyone. This is the brand new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title belt. How about a big hand for Samoa Joe? Joe, good luck to you. Mr. Punk, good luck to you. Gentlemen, have a great match. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Les Thatcher. And now introducing the opponent. He is from American Samoa. Weighing in at 270 pounds. He has held the title for 15 months, defending it in England, Germany, and the United States. He has kept the belt through 19 title defenses. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Samoa Joe!
It's time for the match that the people paid to see. The world title is on the line. The champion, Samoa Joe, he's held that title since March of 2003. In there with the challenger, CM Punk, one half of the ROH Tag Team Champions, a man who earned this spot by pinning BJ Whitmer, the number 2 ranked guy in the top 5 rankings on 522. And Punk pinned him that night to earn this title shot. And here we go, the first lockup. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Punk's first title shot. Who's going to lead ROH in the future? We're going to find out now.
I'm so thrilled to be here. This has big fight night in Vegas, intensity and electricity in the crowd.
The atmosphere here in Dayton is unbelievable. You have to be here live to experience something like this. Let's see if we get a clean break. Yes, we do. And a cocky break at that by CM Punk.
It's interesting, the one guy that's not intimidated by Samoa Joe's track record is CM Punk, who believes that even though he's not the champion, and this is his first title match, that his record in big matches exceeds Samoa Joe's.
CM Punk, he has met Samoa Joe in a non-title match. That was all the way back almost a year ago, August 16th, bitter friends, stiffer enemies. Both men going into that match, though, with probably about 50 to 75%, as they both went and injured, which is why it was non-title. But now we have him at 100%. Although many argue that Samoa Joe is beaten and worn down from all those title defenses that he's had. And of course, he was involved in that brutal match against Homicide just 3 weeks ago, as that Homicide feud continues to rage.
It takes your toll not only physically but mentally as well, Jimmy. It should be pointed out that when you're not the champion, whether you're a Homicide or you're a CM Punk or a BJ Whitmer or any of the other top stars here, if you lose early in the card, you've got two or three cards to come back and regain that momentum and get that title shot back. A loss hurts, but you can recover from it. Whereas Samoa Joe has to be at his absolute best every time he steps in that ring to defend the title. He can't afford an off night. He can't even afford the big mistake.
This crowd in Dayton absolutely loving it in the early going, as both men being pretty cautious. And you're right about what you were saying about Samoa Joe. And not only that, but this is a guy that has met the true elite and has defeated them all, from AJ Styles to Christopher Daniels to Paul London, Dan Moff, BJ Whitmer, Doug Williams, Xavier. The list goes on and on and on of all the men that Samoa Joe has faced and defeated for that title. Homicide on a couple of occasions. I mean, it's a who's who. It's an all-star list of talent. And after meeting that kind of opposition for as long as Joe has, and under such high pressure and high-profile matches, it's bound to take a physical toll on you.
And a mental toll as well. And sometimes that mental exhaustion can hurt you more than the physical exhaustion. Now, this is going to be somewhat of a battle for the tempo here. If you're Samoa Joe, one of the things that impresses me about Samoa Joe is even though he's the champion, he wrestles a very aggressive style and a very offensive style. We heard Samoa Joe's interview earlier. This is a guy that even though he's got the championship, still feels like he has something to prove. You know, he wants to face the best competition, and he wants to dominate the competition. He never seems to want to just escape with the title. He wants to prove that his title means more than any other in wrestling. I think he wants a high-impact match. I think Samoa Joe's best match is one that has a lot of strikes in it. I think CM Punk's match, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a wrestling match. And right now they've been on the mat. I think if this match becomes a mat wrestling match, I think CM Punk may have the advantage.
Samoa Joe does have that aggressive style, as you said. In fact, most of his matches, he likes to get over in about 15 to 20 minutes, and he usually takes it to his opponent right from the onset. CM Punk has slowed him down as he is working that headlock right now, and it's only a matter of time until Joe explodes as Punk goes back to that headlock one more time. And real quick, Mark Nolte, I do have to pay the bills. As I mentioned, Ring of Honor, a new era has begun, as Ring of Honor has started its own video company, its own home distribution DVD company, and now you can get all your ROH merchandise still at ROHWrestling.com. The website remains the same, but the new phone number, 215-781-2500. Again, that's 215-781-2500. And there'll be more than just Ring of Honor videos and DVDs there, as there'll be interviews with some of the top stars in wrestling. There'll be videos and DVDs from other promotions, as well as other merchandise like figures, t-shirts, everything you can imagine. ROHWrestling.com is going to have it. The new Ring of Honor Wrestling Company is going to have it, in addition to all the ROH action. Again, that's 215-781-2500. Ring of Honor Wrestling, P.O. Box 1127, Bristol, PA. That's BRISTOL 19007, ROHWrestling.com. And now let's get back to the match, Mark, as CM Punk continues to work that headlock.
Snap suplex and a chop by Samoa Joe. Though notice that earlier when Samoa Joe got to his feet, look how quickly CM Punk tried to take him back down. I think that's going to be your match in the early part of it. Now Samoa Joe's trying to take over the tempo with what we were talking about earlier.
There's that aggressiveness coming out.
And the strikes. He likes to use the strikes a lot more than CM Punk does.
And CM Punk paying the price as he is down in the corner. This is the Samoa Joe style we usually see, with those strikes, with that aggressiveness, with that fast pace. Beautiful uppercuts there by Samoa Joe.
Well, Samoa Joe usually has a size advantage in his matches, and he's very good about using it. And again, CM Punk, wanting to control the tempo, immediately grabs the side headlock, hip locks him back down to the mat. And notice the way CM Punk rides him with that headlock. He's not just applying pressure to the head and the neck, but he's making him carry that weight. 270 pounds is a size advantage, but it also hurts your stamina. That's more weight that you have to support longer.
Ref Hansen right on top of it to make sure that there's no choke involved. And right now, CM Punk just squeezing at the head, and Joe might be getting a little desperate. Did you see him just go for the eyes of CM Punk? He's got to get out of this hold.
Well, I'm not sure he was going for the eyes. I think he was just trying to bring the neck back. CM Punk, and again, trying to stay on that knee. Samoa Joe just so powerful as he tries to stand up and to get out of that headlock. If nothing else, it gets CM Punk off of it.
Samoa Joe, he's made that title a world title. He's defended in England and Germany, and he's face-to-face with CM Punk right now. Samoa Joe has made that title prestigious. Whoa, what a slap.
Trying to taunt him into coming off the ropes. I'm not sure this is what CM Punk wants to be doing with Samoa Joe.
This is not the game that CM Punk wants to play. And another big shoulder block, neither man going down.
Now CM Punk.
Oh, and he suckers Joe. And knocks him down with that shoulder block. That was the first sucker punch of this match. And Joe just gets his anger at the big Samoan.
Tries to monkey flip Samoa Joe down. Samoa Joe so big, tries to catch him with the crab. Rolls through the crab and gets a 2 count. Arm drag by CM Punk. An arm drag by Samoa Joe. And look at CM Punk. Takes the leg, sweeps the leg. Now it's Samoa Joe sweeping the leg.
And he goes for the kick, but Punk avoids it. What an electricity in this building.
Jimmy, can I disagree with something you said a moment ago?
Feel free, Mark Nolte.
I don't think that was a cheap shot. If Samoa Joe's just going to stand there and stick his chin out, I think CM Punk has every right to hit him with a forearm.
You know, you're right about that. Perhaps I should have said the first aggressive strike by CM Punk of the match. This crowd in Dayton showing their support for both men. We have a 50-50 crowd in this match.
I'm not sure this is what CM Punk wants to be doing. He gave Samoa Joe a long time to get his breath. CM Punk was able to control this match early with the side headlock, and I'm certain, and I know he doesn't want to go to a Greco-Roman knuckle lock, but he's going to take it.
And he gets a kick to the hamstring, another one. Joe peppering him once again, slapping the face of CM Punk. And look at Punk just trying to cover up on the ropes there. And Joe trying to strike anywhere he can, the chin, the side of the face, and Punk is just covering up. And Punk now backing into the corner, Joe looking for any opening he can get.
Now CM Punk comes up almost smiling. He was able to block all those classic cover-up positions. CM Punk, a lot of athletic background, a little bit of a boxing background.
And he was trying to psych out Samoa Joe right there. CM Punk showing Samoa Joe, hey, you just tried to hit me with some of your best shots, and look, it did absolutely no damage. Definite mind games from the challenger.
Boy, and it's like, gotta wonder if it's a mind game here, asking for once again for that Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Because you know he's not gonna outpower Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe looks like he's just kind of toying with him. CM Punk trying to use his forehead in there against the shoulder of Samoa Joe for leverage, but it's not working. Samoa Joe definitely outpowering the ROH Tag Team Champion.
And right now he's just putting all that pressure on the wrists. You know, everybody that's done this before at one time or another as children knows how painful that position can be. CM Punk rolls out of it.
Nice European-style wrestling from CM Punk.
Now CM Punk, hammerlock, and Samoa Joe using that power just bulls him into the corner.
Oh!
And CM Punk does not cover up from those headbutts.
Oh, those had to hurt. They have to take something out of Joe as well, and it's face wash time.
What was CM Punk thinking offering those Greco-Roman knuckles?
Oh, CM Punk just saved himself and rolled out of the way as Samoa Joe is going for that running boot scrape. And CM Punk taking a breather.
I think he has to here. Yeah.
There's no timeouts.
Well, I think he had to because he was in serious trouble. If he'd hit that kick in the corner, it looked like he was setting up. This match could have been over.
CM Punk, some words for the fans at ringside. And he better not be worried about the crowd. But you know one thing about CM Punk, he's always thinking, he's always manipulating, he always has a plan. And even if it seems like he might be distracted, you know that he's really setting forth what his next 2 or 3 moves are going to be in his head. Oh, and look at Joe catching him with that slap.
Early in this match, CM Punk controlled the tempo. Now this is the match that Samoa Joe wants to wrestle.
Samoa Joe going with those strikes, with those kicks. Punk once again just trying to cover up. Joe continuing to search for an opening.
Of course, you can cover up, but when someone is hitting you as hard as Samoa Joe is, that takes its toll on you too. I hate to sound like the complete sports geek nerd, but Rocky Marciano, the great heavyweight champion from the 50s, the guys would cover up. Marciano would punch their arms so hard, and for so many times, their arms were hurt. They couldn't even raise their arms by the end of the match.
Samoa Joe now, big chop to the back, and goes for the kick, but Punk grabs the leg of Joe, and look at that, Punk going back to the headlock.
Jimmy, let me ask you a question. You've seen all of Samoa Joe's title defenses, and you've seen all of CM Punk's big matches, and what a resume by both wrestlers. Who has more impressive wins in ROH, CM Punk or Samoa Joe?
You know, that's a good question, Mark. And as CM Punk unleashing those crossfaces, I'd have to say it's a tie. Samoa Joe definitely has a better one-loss record than CM Punk, but CM Punk wins the big match. He's done it time and time again. When it's on the line, CM Punk wins. He proved that in Chicago when in the main event in his hometown, he won the tag team titles with a Pepsi Plunge. And you know, he might have lost a couple of matches for the old Pure Wrestling title, but that was definitely with debate about how the rules were interpreted. And CM Punk, he won the Raven feud. He won all the big matches of that feud. When it comes to the time for the big match, for the big one, CM Punk is a winner. There's no doubt about that. Meanwhile, those Samoa Joes put on classic title defense after classic title defense, always pulling out the victories right when it seems like he's on the verge of defeat. So you're right there, even on both accounts.
Well, what a tale of the tape that we've got going into this title match.
And look at Joe taking a breather here. Well, you don't usually see the champion do that.
Yeah, that's great, but go do it to CM Punk.
Now Samoa Joe's just having fun out there right now, and the crowd's eating it up.
Yeah, well, how much fun is he going to have if, when he gives CM Punk enough time to regain his composure and CM Punk takes his title?
You know what, Samoa Joe, though, Mark, he might have been buying some time there to regain his composure, as nothing Samoa Joe's done so far has really worked.
Well,
and now Punk punking out his own fan. That guy's had better days. Sorry to cut you off before there, Mark.
and CM Punk jumps up again, grabs the side headlock. You know, tosses him to the mat, and again, they're fighting for control of the tempo.
CM Punk using that headlock throughout this match so far, using it for a couple purposes. One, it slows down the pace, definitely taking Samoa Joe out of his normal routine, his normal game plan by slowing down that pace. And although you're not going to win a match with a side headlock, it does wear down your opponent. It does restrict that blood flow to the head, and it does make you groggy, and it could play into the later stages of this match.
Well, and especially when you apply it from a prone position and you're laying on the guys that he's carrying CM Punk's 220 pounds on his chest. And Samoa Joe goes for the big move there, and again, CM Punk, not being baited into the exchange of the high-impact moves, goes right back to the rear chinlock. And again, when he makes Samoa Joe carry his weight on his back like that, it collapses the lungs and the rib cage, making it harder for Samoa Joe to get oxygen.
You notice something else, Mark? When Joe tried to pick up the pace, Punk immediately slowed it back down by going to that chinlock, which does many of the same things that the side headlock does.
Absolutely.
CM Punk obviously had a master game plan going into this one, slowing the champion down.
Well, you can't play into the champion's strengths. You can't put your head in the lion's mouth, and if you're going to sit there and try to trade shots with Samoa Joe, you're going to lose.
And the world champion now unleashing, and he gets that kick finally. Goes for the knee. Punk tries to roll out of the way, but Joe connects. Cover. Ref Hansen, just a 2 count.
Look at Samoa Joe, though. I wonder if we're starting to see some of the effects of those chin locks and headlocks. Samoa Joe looks like his breathing is becoming just a little bit labored.
That chest definitely heaving a little bit more. Samoa Joe unleashing some of those high-impact strikes and kicks on CM Punk, and it's not slowing Punk down as he blocks that vertical suplex attempt.
This is the point where Samoa Joe usually goes in for the kill. And it'll be interesting to see if he can go for it here. Lifts him up with a vertical suplex.
And he lets the blood rush to Punk's head as the fans count to 20.
And Samoa Joe, though, a little bit slow following up the advantage. And that has to be due to the headlock. There's the cover, hooks the back leg. CM Punk rolls the shoulder.
I see a look of frustration in the eye of the world champion right now. Most of his matches are normally over by now.
And right now, we're not seeing Samoa Joe as aggressive as we saw him 10 minutes ago.
As he's trying those strikes again, striking Punk in the corner. Punk once again covering up, letting Joe take those swings and just trying to protect himself in the meantime. And those swings and punches and strikes, they don't have behind it what they normally have. Oh, and a finger to the eye cuts off Joe. And a side headlock by Punk once again.
And Jimmy, you brought it up earlier, the frustration level, and you saw frustration level there as he took a second to argue with the referee that gave CM Punk the opening.
Very interesting strategy by CM Punk as he continually lets Joe strike him, covering up, negating the effectiveness of those strikes.
A lot of people saw the Spike Lee movie about Muhammad Ali and the Thrill in Manila. You had George Foreman, who was the most dominant heavyweight of that era, who was beating everybody within 3 rounds, knocked Joe Frazier out in 2 rounds. Nobody gave Muhammad Ali a chance. Ali went into that like a 10-1 underdog. Thought that Ali was well over the hill, well past his prime, and couldn't hang with the power of George Foreman. But Ali went in there, was willing to absorb that brutal beating by covering up on the ropes. He called it the rope-a-dope, and let Foreman punch himself out.
You don't think CM Punk's trying to do that here?
I have seen enough of Samoa Joe to know that that's probably a pretty good strategy because you're not going to trade shots with him and win.
Wow, what a genius strategy by CM Punk, taking a page out of history right there. And it would work for Ali. It could work for CM Punk right here as Joe is tired and he is absorbing those chops.
Now the question is, can CM Punk put Samoa Joe away? Because, Jimmy, you've seen a lot of both of these guys to know they can both take a punch.
And Joe looks tired, he looks fatigued, and CM Punk's beginning to dominate with some offense here. Let's see if he can do it. Let's see if he can keep it going. And he is just choking the world champion in the corner with that boot. Ref Hansen calling for the break.
Again, working on the oxygen of the champion. If you can't breathe, you can't win.
Joe's trying to fire back, both men going toe-to-toe. Joe getting the advantage on Punk with those strikes. Punk goes down, and this time Punk goes out of the ring, but he grabs the leg of Samoa Joe, pulls him out, and I'm not sure this is where CM Punk wants to be with Joe.
Absolutely not.
Joe continually peppering Punk with those slaps, with that forearm. And another headbutt. Punk is down. Nowhere for Punk to go. Of course, there are no countouts here at ROH. The referee can disqualify you if you're on the floor for too long, but I got a feeling they're going to be out there for about a half an hour for Ref Hansen to stop this one. And Punk takes that steel.
And he's also holding his knee. I think his knee hit the guardrail on that flip.
And Joe taking a breather and stomping, just placing that foot in an insulting way on the face of CM Punk.
He's almost using CM Punk's strategy there. He's slowing the tempo down, and he's trying to take the oxygen away from CM Punk.
And you know what could be coming up? The fans could be calling for it. No Ole kick as Punk changes the momentum one more time.
Gotta get back in the ring. You're not gonna win the exchanges out on the floor.
And let's see what Punk has in mind. He's not going to Ole kick Joe, is he?
Oh, this is such a bad idea. You cannot, if you're the challenger, you cannot win the title on the floor.
Oh, Joe got up and Punk saw it. Punk scurries back into the ring.
That's where he needs to be.
Everyone in this building in Dayton is on their feet as they are watching this world title match develop.
And this has turned into a chess match.
This 50-50 crowd once again voicing their opinion with that "Let's Go Punk, Let's Go Joe" chant. And both these men are feeling that adrenaline from the crowd. They're coming face to face in the middle of the ring. Joe with that kick, both men trying with kicks.
Well, CM Punk is not going to get the better of those exchanges.
And Punk once again retreats into the corner, but this time he's unable to cover up and protect himself from those big knees and that palm strike.
Well, that was completely unprotected. When CM Punk turns around, check to see if there's still a nose on his face.
And Joe definitely beginning to sense that he's got the momentum in his favor. Let's see if he can follow up.
I think he needs to try to finish him off right here.
No doubt about that, Mark Nolte. He needs to get this over and done with. And Punk flips into the corner. He's stuck there. He tries to get up. Yes. Oh, and Joe nails him with the forearm. Punk is down on the floor.
And Samoa Joe's just sitting in the ring waiting for him. Tope!
Looks like Joe got tired of waiting.
A 270-pound Tope Suicida by the ROH champion.
And that is what makes this man a world champion. He is as agile as they come. Never mind the fact that he's a big man. That does not affect his mobility one bit as he wrestles like a 150-pounder of Special K.
And has certainly put his body on the line the same way a 150-pounder will. But look at his right knee. He is favoring it. Let's see if he can put weight on it as he stands here.
Well, they're called high-risk maneuvers for a reason, because even if you score, you still hold a chance of hurting yourself.
This is what I meant earlier, Jimmy, when I said even though he's the champion, he wrestles as a challenger sometimes.
And it's Ole Ole kick time. And Punk stops. He stops Joe right in his tracks with that back elbow. Punk avoiding the Ole Ole kick, goes for a Hurricanrana. Joe catches him though. Oh, Punk hard into that steel.
CM Punk may be out. CM Punk may be out. Give CM Punk credit. He tried to control the tempo of this match for as long as he can. But Samoa Joe, so powerful, so aggressive, so physically dominating with those strikes that once he gets the advantage, it's like trying to stop a freight train.
Look at the gut of Samoa Joe and the chest heaving as he tries to get his breath, and he was unable to follow up. Uh-oh, he's gonna follow up now.
But he's moving a little bit, a step slower than we normally see him moving.
And he scores with the Ole Ole kick that time, taking the face off of CM Punk. I wouldn't be surprised if that busted a nose.
Needs to get him up. Needs to get him in the ring. Needs to finish this match.
He could be going for another Ole Ole kick. Right now, Samoa Joe is just toying with the challenger. And he connects again.
That's gotta be it. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody kick out of after getting hit with two Ole Ole kicks.
Samoa Joe needs to get CM Punk in the ring. He needs to go for the Island Driver, the Muscle Buster, or the choke. That's how he wins the majority of his matches, and he has Punk in a position to score with one of those moves right now.
Do you think it kind of bothers Samoa Joe that the crowd was 50-50? You think this might be what this is about a little bit?
Or perhaps the fact that CM Punk controlled the tempo of this match. Normally Joe controls the tempo of matches. And there's another Ole Ole kick. Samoa Joe just punishing the challenger.
That face has just got to be crushed.
And look at the pain on the face of CM Punk. Samoa Joe back in the ring. And I would think that Samoa Joe would want to get CM Punk back in the ring immediately so he could try to capitalize on this situation.
I'm a little bit surprised too. You would think after that he should just be able to roll him into the ring and just, a simple cover and hooking the leg would get the win. Now CM Punk knows that there is no count out.
CM Punk staggering, struggling to get into the ring. Can he pull himself in? He has taken quite a beating so far. How many of those blows, those strikes, those kicks from Samoa Joe registered earlier? We do know that those 3 ole kicks registered big time, but the world champion slow to follow up as CM Punk pulls himself to his feet, but he looks in no condition to fire any kind of offense right now. CM Punk might be at the mercy of the world champion.
Samoa Joe may be actually smart and not just bull rushing CM Punk. Punk's so cagey, could have been playing possum.
And he was! CM Punk lands on his feet. A burst energy. Oh, he gets driven through the mat with that sidewalk slam, though.
Now Samoa Joe starting to feel it. Crosses over for the cover, hooks the back leg.
Only a 2 count. The challenger kicking out.
Staring at the referee's not going to turn that into a 3 count. You're not going to win the argument with the referee. Follow up the advantage, win the match.
About 15 to 20 minutes ago, I noted that everyone in this building was on their feet. They have yet to sit down as Joe unloading with that chop and punch combo. Punk unable to cover up. Punk now down in the corner. There's the face wash again. Oh, so brutal, so aggressive. Joe hits the ropes and connects with the running boot scrape this time. The champion is dominating. This is the world champion that we know. This is the Samoa Joe that has kept the belt since March of 2003 against top challengers from all over the world.
If this was a boxing match, the referee would have stopped it. CM Punk out on his feet. I have no idea why he's still conscious.
Well, look at CM Punk, though, pulling himself, using the top rope to get to his feet, only to get taken down by Joe, who's now squeezing the head of CM Punk with his legs.
And this is almost a sleeper at this point. If he could get that thigh across the carotid artery, and especially with all the damage that CM Punk has taken.
Joe has proven he can get that choke from numerous different positions, including using a triangle choke or a triangle armbar like he did against Matt Striker in Chicago to get victories. So CM Punk definitely has to beware of those different moves in the arsenal of Samoa Joe. And look at Punk turning it over, and he gets out of the hole and traps Joe.
Now Punk needs to keep this hold on for a while.
Get him off.
Joe is in the ropes, Ref Hansen right on top of it, calling for the break.
So right now, CM Punk needs to stick and move as much as he can. He needs to try to stay away from Samoa Joe and try to get the cobwebs back, try to clear his head. And Samoa Joe giving him no chance at that as he follows Punk into the corner with a pair of forearms and a headbutt.
Once again, though, those forearms don't have what they normally do behind it. Perhaps that rope-a-dope technique by Punk paying off. Punk now with a burst of energy, goes airborne, scores with that crossbody, the champion is down. Punk grasping at those ribs. What endurance CM Punk is showing right here, taking all that abuse and still firing back. Don't count the challenger out.
I've seen CM Punk take some brutal beatings. I've seen him take a brutal beating from Raven. I thought Raven was going to kill him, and CM Punk figured out a way to come back and win that match. Both of these wrestlers have one thing in common. They both have the ability to absorb an abnormal amount of punishment.
And Samoa Joe trying to fire himself up after those kicks by Punk. Joe gets to his feet. Punk puts him down with a big boot. Cover!
Didn't have the presence of mind of hooking that back leg, and sometimes that's not a mistake as much as when you've taken the punishment that CM Punk has, that's why you don't have the presence of mind of grabbing the back leg.
But you know what CM Punk does have the presence of mind to do, and now he's grabbed the chin lock again. Trying to wear down the world champion. Most of Joe's title matches go about 15-20 minutes. I don't think he's ever had a match go over 25 minutes. So right now, Joe is on uncharted territory. CM Punk might be one move away from scoring the victory as he does that Russian leg sweep. Now trying to tie up the legs of Samoa Joe, but those massive legs are just too big. CM Punk having a little bit of trouble there, but yes, hold on, it looks like he might have the hold cinched.
Looks like he wants to try for the cross-legged submission.
And now he's pushing at that knee of Joe, applying the pressure. And if he could take Joe's legs out from underneath him at this point of the match, we're going to have a new world champion.
And remember earlier when he hit that suicida tope that he landed on his knee, and that's the knee that Punk's working on now.
Joe firing back with those chops to the chest of CM Punk, and Punk unfazed keeps the hold on. The challenger just absorbing a brutal beating, and while absorbing that beating, the champion is getting worn down. Punk firing back with those forearms, little to no effect. Joe pays him back with a slap.
See, I wouldn't even worry about the forearms. Just keep the pressure on the knee.
Well, there was an extreme look of pain on the face of Samoa Joe. That knee definitely getting worn down there.
Punk needs to watch his shoulders. And this is also giving CM Punk an opportunity to clear the cobwebs and recover from that brutal beating he took on the outside with those 3 leg kicks.
Oh, you don't want to headbutt the world champion. And now Joe paying Punk back with a series of headbutts. Absolutely brutal headbutts, one after another. And that's going to take something out of both men, but more out of the challenger.
Maybe the biggest mistake by CM Punk in this match to this point.
This crowd still on their feet. Look at the faces of all those people glued on the ring. They are witnessing a classic and a potential new champion right now, as I could not pick a winner in this one.
Well, put my money on Samoa Joe because CM Punk is still out on his feet. Looks like he might be going for the abdominal stretch.
Simple and effective at this point.
Jack Briscoe would be proud. That's how you apply the abdominal stretch. You plant both feet, lock the arms, now drop into the lateral guillotine, hooking the front leg. Samoa Joe is a master of strikes, but make no mistake, Samoa Joe can wrestle. That's a great technical wrestling move. The standing guillotine, also known as an abdominal stretch, turn into a pinning combination by dropping it into the lateral guillotine. And also notice the way that he hooked the hands on the abdominal stretch to put more pressure on the ribs, and at the same time kept both feet planted so he'd have a good base.
Beautifully done. And those chops right there, putting both men down. And CM Punk struggling to his feet. Comes off and scores with that knee to the head of Samoa Joe. And I think at this point of the match, that one move could finish off either man. They are so worn down, so tired, so beaten up at this point, and especially Samoa Joe, who usually doesn't go this long in matches. If CM Punk scores with one high-impact move, it could be all over. We could have a new world champion.
Well, I also think both men at this point are questioning themselves. Both men have done what they've needed to do to win this match. Both men have hit what they've needed to hit that would have beaten any other opponent. They've won matches doing less to other opponents, yet this match is still going. I think Samoa Joe in particular has to be questioning himself. 3 devastating ole kicks.
A couple of pinfalls. Joe kicks out of both of them.
That time he hooks the top wrist lock to try to secure the pinning combination. But what is Samoa Joe thinking to himself at this moment?
Well, right now, CM Punk has got to be thinking about taking the worn-down world champion and hitting the Pepsi plunge. If he's able to do that, this match is definitely over, and we will have a new world champion. And right now, Samoa Joe is fatigued. He's tired enough, so CM Punk might be able to get him in a position for that Pepsi plunge.
Well, if you're going to hook the front leg, you've got to cross the body on the pinning combination. Now we're seeing both guys, the level of frustration's increasing. You have to wonder if this match is going to break down into a brawl at some point, because I think both men are questioning exactly what it is they need to do to win the match.
Oh, and look at Punk insulting the world champion by mocking him, and that did nothing more than piss off Joe and give it an adrenaline burst as he connects with a big enziguri and a big back suplex.
I'm telling you right now, the mustard fell off the hot dog. If you've got Samoa Joe hurt enough if you have enough time to drop into a double bicep, you have time enough to try to hook a leg.
CM Punk maybe getting a little bit too smart for his own good with those mind games. Both men down now. Punk once again trying to pull himself up with those ropes, using every last ounce of strength he has to get to his feet. The world champion kneeling on all fours, now trying to get to his feet with his last bit of energy and strength. Oh, both men connect with clotheslines. Roaring forearm, cover!
2 7/8. Nothing but the power and the guts of Samoa Joe saves the ROH title. I promise you, he rolled that shoulder on pure instinct.
Can CM Punk follow it up? He's unleashing those forearms, and notice this time Joe is not fighting back. Punk hitting the ropes. A sleeper hold. And this is where that headlock and the chinlock from before, they have worn down, those moves have worn down Samoa Joe for this very sleeper hold.
But the punishment that CM Punk take, he's having a hard time getting that locked in. He needs to get that form across the carotid artery. And look at the way that Samoa Joe's turning his head. You know, that's how you fight the sleeper. You keep trying to turn sideways.
And CM Punk not able to get Joe off his base either. Joe back on his feet, but once again CM Punk applies that sleeper hold. If CM Punk could get Joe off his feet, the champion might pass out from this move. And the champion's down to one knee. The champion's down on the mat to the sleeper hold.
But he's keeping that head turned. He's not able to get that forearm all the way underneath the carotid artery.
Samoa Joe has to get back up to his feet, and like you said, CM Punk has to get this hold cinched in. Wow, what genius plan by CM Punk, using that headlock, using the chinlock to wear down Joe, and now he's got the world champion down with a sleeper hold.
And a little bit of the rope-a-dope on the ropes and in the corner.
And Joe somehow gets to his feet, back elbows, Punk relinquishes the hold, goes for it again, there's a choke! No, Punk out of the choke, applies the sleeper hold one more time. We could have a new world champion. This crowd in Dayton senses it. The champion is down.
This is when the sleeper hold is most effective, when you've gone long into the match, and when, as Jimmy, as we've talked about several times, when you force the oxygen out of the lungs with headlocks and chinlocks.
Samoa Joe is close to those ropes, but look at him, he is going limp. The world champion is going limp. He needs to reach those ropes. He needs to get out of this hold in a hurry, but even if he does, he might be out on his feet. The world champion showing signs of life, trying to keep movement going in his body and not go out to this sleeper hold, but CM Punk has it locked in. Joe trying everything he can, trying to shake it off, trying to keep himself awake. And now Punk forced to go to the chinlock, but Joe gets to his feet. And scores with the enziguri to save the world title.
And that was not only an enziguri, it was a 180-degree enziguri. Samoa Joe, that was a desperation move, Chris. Samoa Joe felt the title slipping away. That was his version of the big roundhouse that he hopes to connect. That was a puncher's chance, taking that one last chance before he lost the title, and he scores with it.
And CM Punk intelligently rolls under the ropes so that Joe could not go for a pinfall.
How can a man that big do a 180-degree enziguri?
That's the agility that makes him a world champion. Now Joe with a backbreaker. He's got those legs, trying to turn it around into that Boston Crab we've seen Joe use so many times. Punk fighting it with every ounce of strength he has. And Joe trying to twist, and yes, he turns it over, and he has that knee buried into the spine of the lower back of CM Punk. At the same time, ripping at that knee, pulling up on those legs, tearing at the ligaments and tendons of the knee, while twisting the spine of CM Punk. And now he really has it cinched in deep.
If you get your leverage underneath the legs, he can't power out with his legs. And Samoa Joe knows that. That's how you keep someone from powering out from underneath the Boston Crab. Punk gets to the ropes.
Punk, with his last bit of intestinal fortitude, clutches at the bottom rope, forcing Ref Hansen to tell Samoa Joe to break the hold, and the world champion looks frustrated.
Oh, both these men are frustrated. CM Punk thought he had the match won with the sleeper. Samoa Joe thought he had the match won with the ole kicks, and then later on with that Boston Crab, which he had locked in perfectly. both men have done what they've needed to do to win the match, but we're still going. And I think right now both men have to be questioning exactly what it is they have to do.
Punk back in the corner, and Joe unleashing those kicks on Punk. Punk in a very familiar spot in this match, in that corner, absorbing blows and kicks from Samoa Joe, who runs in with a knee.
I'm surprised to see him make a charge. Samoa Joe's got to be so tired, and it takes so much energy to make a charge like that, and that can turn into such a mistake if Punk could move out of the way.
Maybe Samoa Joe is going for that knockout blow. He might figure that's his only chance as he plants CM Punk on the top rope.
Samoa Joe, and actually both men, both Samoa Joe and CM Punk, moving a beat slower now.
I'm not sure what the time is in this match, but this match is easily by far the longest single world title match in ROH history, and this crowd in Dayton has yet to sit down. What an electricity in this building. I'm standing, you're standing, Mark Nolte, everyone in this building is. What an effort we're seeing by both men. This is history. Punk perched on the top rope. Drops an elbow. Cover.
Can't hook the leg.
Oh, that could have been it. Right now, Samoa Joe, he's not thinking about his issues with Homicide and the Rottweilers. CM Punk, he's not thinking about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who he put out at the last show in Philadelphia. That's why Steamboat's not here tonight. Both men are focused on the richest prize in ROH, the world title.
Now CM Punk is going to put Samoa Joe on the top rope.
He might be trying to set up for the Pepsi plunge. Joe not quite in position for it. Punk trying to wear down Joe more with those forearms. This could be that big home run swing that either man needs to win the match, and Punk is going for it right here. He's going for it all. Both men struggling on the top. Punk now getting his balance, getting control. He's got the world champion. Dumps him with the back suplex. If Punk could get the cover, it could be all over. Does he have the energy?
I think that took as much out of Punk as it did Samoa Joe, especially when you're having to deal with 270 pounds of dead weight and trying to position that on the top rope.
The crowd counting along with Ref Hansen. We could have a double count out right here. I wouldn't be surprised if neither man could beat the 10 count.
You know, I've seen some great long matches in my time. You know, I saw Nick Bockwinkel and Kurt Hennig go 60 minutes, you know, on ESPN, the most famous wrestling match in the history of ESPN. I've got videotape at WrestlingClassics.com of some of those tremendous Jack Briscoe versus Dory Funk Jr. matches. I've seen Paul Jones go an hour with Harley Race in Charlotte. I've seen Kerry Von Erich and Ric Flair battle for an hour in Hawaii. And this is what this match reminds me of.
Oh, power slam! Cover! Not quite enough. And look at Joe. He's going for that arm.
If he locks in the cross arm breaker, CM Punk will have to submit.
And Punk keeps grabbing his hand. He's got his hands clasped together, so Samoa Joe can't get that cross arm breaker, but Joe is trying to pull, trying to tear at the arm of CM Punk.
Even though he doesn't, and he rolls through with it and gets to the ropes. Great counter move. And that's one more move that Samoa Joe thought he had this match won, and yet once again CM Punk survives. And again, the frustration level continues. And you've got to talk about the conditioning of both of these athletes. You brought it up before how Samoa Joe usually gets his matches, his wins in under 15 minutes. I talked to Jack Briscoe one time. He said that he wrestled an hour draw with
look at those Guana kicks!
With Dory Funk, and he said that before the match he stepped on a scale that was in the dressing room. After the match he lost 10 pounds.
Both men definitely losing weight in this one. Who's got more stamina? Oh, Punk, cover! Oh, that could have been it. It only takes 3 seconds. Joe cuts off Punk though. Scoops Punk up. Powerbomb! Cover! And he turns it over into that crab, and Punk is nowhere near the ropes.
This has got to be it right right here. This has got to be it right here. CM Punk, nowhere to go. All the pressure on his back and knees.
And he turns it into an STF, a favorite of Samoa Joe. And Punk is so far away from those ropes. His best bet might be to try to go backwards if he's even able to.
Oh, he's not going anywhere.
As this move tears at the knee and twists the neck and torso, and there it is. What ring presence by CM Punk.
How did he carry 270 pounds really with one leg? He had one leg that he could move. Crawled with one leg with 270 pounds on his back while having his neck and knee wrenched.
And this crowd hasn't lost a beat, as now Joe trying to take Punk out of the corner, unable to. Once again, Punk returning home to the corner, trying to protect himself. And look at Joe, he's too tired to follow up, and Punk's too tired to take advantage. Oh, Punk lands on his feet! And connects with a boot to the face of Joe!
That was just CM Punk's desperation move. Now CM Punk quickly following up on his advantage. I don't know how much gas there's left in CM Punk's tank, but he's trying to get to his destination before he runs out of fuel.
And if he connects with this, Hurricanrana scores! The champion's down! Cover!
Didn't get the leg hooked. I think right now, both CM Punk and Samoa Joe are feeding off this crowd's energy. I don't know if they have much of their own. You've got pride, you've got guts, and you've got this crowd intensity feeding them.
And you have the ROH World Championship on the line. That's what both men are going for. Joe made that belt a world title. He's brought prestige to it. CM Punk wants to be the top dog here in ROH, and you need the belt to prove it. Punk now has Joe. Mule kick. Punk takes Joe and scores. That's a CM Punk original move. Cover.
Barely gets that foot over the bottom rope. I bet if either one of these athletes took their boot off and turned it upside down, you would see probably a cup of water pour out of the boot. They've lost so many fluids. You know, this is so exhausting to do what they're doing at this level, at this intensity for as long as they've gone.
This is the kind of match you only see from the true best, the true elite, those that are truly driven for success, and they're doing it for the ROH World title. Punk maybe going for a lariat, and he gets dumped though for his efforts. Joe saved himself, and Joe is trying to get the adrenaline first. He's fired himself up. Sunset flip cover. No, turns it into that rolling cradle. Cover.
The move that Danny Hodge won so many World Junior Heavyweight Championships with, the Oklahoma roll. But again, you know, that move not only gets your opponent dizzy, but it affects your equilibrium as well.
As you see Joe there trying to get his bearings. Joe trying to lariat, Punk ducks it. Joe connects with that elbow, goes for a lariat again, no. Punk down with the crucifix, cover! Oh, just a second away from a champ. Mark, that's gonna be it for CM Punk.
He decapitates. What a brilliant effort by CM Punk. You've got to give him so much credit for taking the battle to the champion, taking the champion absolute limit. No! How
is CM Punk kicking out after that lariat? Oh my God, this is a legendary effort from both men. CM Punk, I'm speechless. How did he do it? How did he do it? Both men down and exhausted.
And both men trying to figure out what they have to do to put their opponent away.
They have to be getting all their energy from the crowd at this point, as look at Punk trying to pull himself up with the ropes. Joe using the ropes to hold himself up. Both weary fighters. Oh, Joe unleashes that chop. He's going for a dragon suplex. Punk blocks it. Punk now behind Joe. Joe no reverses on Punk.
Joe going for the rolling reverse. CM Punk continues to block it. Now CM Punk with back elbows. Big forearm puts Samoa Joe to one knee.
Shining Wizard! It's all over. He gets the cover. Here it is, new champion! How is Joe doing it? This is what's made this man such a legendary champion. Joe is cementing the legacy of his ROH World title reign right here tonight in Dayton.
And CM Punk is cementing his legacy as well by taking Samoa Joe to the absolute limit of his considerable abilities.
But CM Punk needs that world title to truly cement his legacy, and he might be one move away from getting it. Can he follow up on the weary and worn down world champion?
I don't know how either one of these men can still stand.
Oh, Joe ducks. Punk missing. Oh, a low blow. A low blow.
That's desperation on CM Punk.
And Joe clutches Punk though. Slams him knee first on the canvas. And I think we're at about the 45-50 minute mark in this match. And Joe has Punk once again focusing on that knee of CM Punk and driving that knee into the spine of CM Punk. Punk might tap out if he can't reach the ropes.
Half crab.
And look at Joe wrenching back, and Punk reaches up and grabs the ropes.
Half crab, a favorite of the great Lou Thez.
The fans chanting, please don't tap at CM Punk. I'm shocked to hear it. We haven't heard that since the beloved Paul London here at ROH. CM Punk earning the respect of these fans. And now Joe, muscle buster time. Joe has him set up. This puts everyone down. Oh, Punk avoids it. Joe now staggered, using those ropes to hold himself up as Punk goes up to the top. Joe slaps Punk, knocks Punk down. Joe now climbing up to the top. He's one big move away from winning this match, and it could be the superplex right here if he connects. Joe's going for it.
CM Punk.
Oh, hold on! Pepsi plunge! He's got him hooked! Punk connects with the Pepsi plunge, but that's all impact on Punk's knees too. The already injured knees of CM Punk, and he could not make the cover. He was in so much pain that he rolled out of the ring. Those knees are in terrible shape, and as a result, CM Punk could not capitalize. The world champion is down.
He landed with so much force. With Samoa Joe at 270 pounds, the momentum took him to the apron where he rolled out of the ring himself.
And there is under 5 minutes left in the 60-minute time limit of this match.
Both men have used every move in their arsenal, plus some. Now they've got to figure out one pinning combination.
Punk could still get the pin though. He could still get the pin. No, Joe started making his way to his feet. Too much time elapsed after the Pepsi plunge. Punk now firing with those forearms. Goes in. No, ducks. Double clothesline, both men down.
I haven't seen a match go an hour since the Ric Flair-Ricky Steamboat series in the 90s.
I believe there's under 3 minutes left in this time limit of this match. Right now the clock is in Samoa Joe's favor. However, the challenger needs to capitalize, as in the event of a draw, the world champion retains the title. Punk needs to get aggressive in a hurry if he's still able to. Does he have the intestinal fortitude? Does he have the guts? Does he have what it takes to be a world champion?
Does he have the presence of mind?
Shining Wizard again! Punk up, takes Joe into the middle of the ring, follows up with a vertical suplex. And Joe saves himself with a dragon screw. Desperation move by Joe, but effective on the injured knee of CM Punk.
And he created some distance between himself and CM Punk, which is what he needed, giving him a chance to regain consciousness.
I believe the timekeeper, I can't hear over this crowd. He either just called 2 minutes remaining or 1 minute remaining. Let's see if Punk can follow up. No, Joe. Right now, Joe just needs to kill a couple of minutes, and he's still world champion.
I don't think he's trying to kill a couple of minutes. This is Samoa Joe. He will be aggressive to the very end.
And what's Joe setting up for here?
Looks like he's trying to grab a three-quarter Nelson and suplex him off the top ropes.
Oh, he dumps Punk backwards on the back of his neck. A new move from Samoa Joe. Let's see if he can fall up to get the pin, no. Both men down. They can be counted out here before the time limit even elapses.
This is just incredible. You know, I've been thinking of all the hour time limit draws I've seen, and this ranks up there with them.
It's not over yet, though, Mark. We still have under a minute to go here, and neither man could get the pin in that time as they are slapping each other.
I saw Ricky Steamboat win a match over Ric Flair at 59 minutes.
And it could happen right here. We are under a minute, maybe about 30 seconds left as both men are slapping each other. And Punk scores with a DDT. But does he have the energy to get the pin? Oh, he collapses before he can get the pin. The clock is ticking. This match is almost over. And there it is. Joe saves the title.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's it. The 60 minutes have expired.
Incredible. An absolutely incredible display of wrestling ability, of athleticism, of endurance, and most of all of courage.
What a world title match we just saw. The Ring of Honor world title means it all. CM Punk and Samoa Joe, an unbelievable effort from both men. And I am so proud that we had this match in an ROH ring. This was history. This was something special. And I'm glad we could all share it. Wow. All I have to say is thank you to CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
Is Samoa Joe. I've done this before. Joe, I've done this before. You've done it before too. Everybody in that locker room has done it before. But Homicide, what you've never done before is pissed me off like you just did. It's pissed off